wherever you're joining us from around the world. Let's enjoy some South Florida sunshine. It's that time again. Welcome along, everybody. We are here for the 8th round of the Contest of Speed for the AM1 tier, and what an exciting race this is shaping up to be. Lots of laps around the Hard Rock Stadium to come, so let's go ahead and look into just one of those laps. This track, 3.36 miles long, and we'll see what our drivers do coping with the 19 corners, 12 to the left and 9 to the right, and 3 DRS zones around this track. And we'll see how the tires cope with the track temperatures and the very hot conditions we are seeing this evening. Soft is the C4, medium is the C3, and the hard is on the C2. The hard or the medium tire could be a race favorite if it's a one stop, but you never know with safety cars. And if you weren't here last week, it was BK in the Red Bull who took his first race win of the season. I guess we'll just have to wait and see who finishes out on top tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the AM1 tier here in Miami this week. And I am, as always, joined by Electric Entree. How you doing tonight?
Hey, we're doing great. Thanks for having me in today.
Of course, of course. And we are just now kicking off qualifying, so we're gonna watch the drivers as they go ahead and head on out. And I mean, what are we really expecting here tonight from our drivers here?
Here at Miami, we're looking probably, I think, a mid to high 126 is going to be a pretty solid lap, if not putting you on pole. If you can do a mid to low 126 here, or even a high 125, that I would say that would be probably the epitome of what we're going to see here tonight. But I think mid to high 126 is a little more realistic.
Yeah, and hopefully these guys can put in some decent lap times. I mean, they're as always, they're going to be ramping up, trying to put in their banker laps. And I mean, we still have 16 minutes of qualifying session time left for these guys to put in their fast laps. We're on board with Orlando right now. He had a great race last week. If you didn't join us, he got himself on the podium after a crazy safety car and a crazy finish as well. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch the end of that race at least. That was an amazing finish, but hopefully we can have something like that tonight. And I mean, we'll just have to see what the McLarens can do and what the rest of the grid can do as well. We're gonna go on board with BK in 19th. He got his first win last week in Azerbaijan, and we'll see how he does this week as well. What do you think? What do you think the McLarens and BK are going to be able to do tonight?
Well, you know, it's funny. For those of you who tuned in last week and are like, wait a minute, BK didn't get a win last week. Our original podium for the race, QRL Ramon, Red Devil, and Fluffy, 1, 2, and 3 respectively. All three caught penalties post-race that knocked all three of them out of the podium, allowing BK, Orlando, and Riva to move up to 1, 2, and 3. And like Sharp Swing was saying, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch, because they ended up finishing within 1/100th of a second of each other. It was very much a photo finish for the win, or for at the time 4th, 5th, and 6th place. That ended up turning into a podium for all three of them. So tonight, they definitely shown that they've got the pace to compete. Miami, it's a strange track. You know, it can be. It's not as tight and technical, or it's not a street circuit like Azerbaijan, but some of these corners, the way they flow, the curbs can really throw you. So you got to watch out for that. You got to watch out for the other drivers, and like the chicane there before the last DRS straight. So if you can avoid the curbs and avoid the other drivers, you got a pretty solid shot here. And I think any of them could. They have the ability to do so, but it takes a little bit of luck as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing with this track as well, is there is no grip out here. All the drivers are going to be struggling for any inch of grip they can get later in these stints. And especially in qualifying, they might have the grip, but it's not going to last for very long. It's going to be a struggle out there. They're going to be on ice skates, especially with the track temperatures being as high as they are. And oh man, Cost Mindset had a bit of a bump with the wall there, as Orlando goes fastest on the timesheets. We've had a couple guys going in. Orlando so far with the fastest time. As Electric Entree was saying, a good lap time is probably going to be around the 125 to 126 range. So we'll see if these drivers can put that up there. But it looks like Cost Mindset is going to go ahead and abort this lap, as he made a little bit of a a mess up there through that hairpin in Sector 3.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, the grip here is funny. It can be a very slick track, and especially that South Florida sun, man. It keeps those track temps up. The tires, they wear away really fast. We're going to probably see a lot of hard and medium usage during the race. This is probably the last time you see the softs, unless we get a very late safety car with like a 5-lap shootout or something. But it's hard on the tires. It's hard to get grip. And also where it's a lot of long straight, there's some long straights and it's kind of flowy. You don't want to run too much downforce, which means the tires end up spinning. You end up sliding. You definitely got to work to be in control of your car here.
Yeah, and as you were talking there, Red Devil and No Pucks Given, they were leading. It was a Williams 1-2. Then Saw Niaz came out of there with the 127, and then G-Boon finally breaking into that 126 boundary. So we might be looking around the 126 range. Curel Ramon with the 126.919. He's going to go fastest so far in the session. We still have 10 minutes left, and I mean, some drivers haven't even put in times yet. So I would expect a pretty decent time from Ron Imovil and Cost Mindset. Both those Mercedes guys are pretty quick. And we do have some subs today. So Jan is subbing in for Scorenzi. And then I believe, Electric, you know the rest of the subs. If you could list those off for me, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me 1 second here, and I will get right on that. Okay, so you had mentioned, so we have Orlando in the McLaren for Rivera. Buyer Gab, he's subbing in for a Redog in the AlphaTauri. Mel Cart in for Riva Camp in the Haas. And Saad, who you just mentioned, he's in for Cars Ben tonight in that Alfa Romeo. Also, if you're looking on your screen there and you see Teki Corgi looking like he's not in the session, he's actually already retired. He caught a qualifying ban for this race after the race last week due to penalty point accumulation. So you need after 6 penalty points on your contest and speed racing license, you get a qualifying ban. He's up to 7 now, so he's gonna be looking to keep it clean this race when he gets in, but he's going to be doing it from the back of the grid starting out.
And that's very unfortunate for Teki Corgi in the Alpine. He's not a bad driver. He can get a little bit careless sometimes, a little bit sloppy, but he has pace. And man, I really hope he can keep it clean for this race so he can hopefully vault himself up into the points. And I definitely see him being able to do that. He's just going to have to chop his way through the field.
Yeah, he'll have to work through the field, but it may actually work out for him okay. Seems like all the races this week, there's been a little bit, it hasn't been terrible, but there's been a little bit of turn one chaos, it seems, at this track, where everybody comes out of the gate and hits that hard right hand and kind of backs up a little bit. So he may be able to hang out there and avoid some of the problems and then kind of make his way through when it spreads out just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a tough braking zone to read. Like, when you're starting on the grid, that corner comes up to you, like, super quick, especially when there's other drivers on the track. It's really difficult to read, and I feel like that might be a bit of a struggle for some of these guys out on track today. We'll see if they can cope with it. A couple of our drivers are headed out on their second laps here. No Pucks Given is the fastest so far on his out lap. And we'll see if G-Boon can go ahead and top Curel Ramon's time. He is still our championship leader. What were we going to say?
I will say, Mindset, he's currently on a push lap. He's set a purple Sector 1 as he's about to come out and finish up on Sector 2 here, see how he does.
Yeah,
but,
we'll go ahead and we'll ride on board with Mindset through the rest of this lap. Oh, and we caught him on that track. Oh, wait, did he invalidate his lap?
I don't think it invalidated him.
I think he's still going.
To be invalidated.
Yeah,
no, that's
his
a
map
through Sector 2. Yeah, he's still going.
Yeah,
I thought for sure that was going to get him, though.
Yeah, me too. I thought his map would go red, but it hasn't. And, he's going to abort this lap, it looks like. Not sure why he aborted that lap, but, I mean, he's running out of time to be able to put in a good lap. So, we'll see if he can get one in. He still hasn't put in a good lap time. And Jay Supreme, he's going to be finishing up his lap as well. We're going to finish on board with him. He's going to ride this curve, hopefully not slip, finish it out strong. He's going to put himself in last place so far with a 129.479. There's definitely some time still out there for Jay Supreme. Cost Mindset, of course, has not put in his time. That's just an interesting lap from him there. We're going to go ahead and go on board with Orlando. He's 3/10 down on his Sector 3 time as he's coming around towards the final complex of corners here. Orlando, he's looking good. He might be able to catapult himself up into the top 5. Can he do it? Can he keep it clean through the rest of this lap? He is going to go 7th. He's going to go in front of BK and be between Red Devil and BK. He's going to be in 7th place. That's not a bad lap time from Orlando and that McLaren. And Fluffy has retired from the session.
All right. Fluffy's out. He's got a 127.8. I didn't see what happened. I don't know if he wrecked or if he retired in the pits. But he did set a time. So he's currently sitting 11th there.
Yep.
So now we have the Mindset. He set that 143, which he aborted that lap. So the only one left to set a time is Just Jose, who we know as Rana Mobile.
And hopefully he gets out pretty quick. The Mercedes still haven't put in their lap times. We're on board with BK. We're about to see if he's putting on a decent lap here. He's a little bit down, almost the exact same as his previous lap. He's going to have an almost even Sector 1 time. He's going to be about 2 thousandths off that previous time. And B. Scholes in the Ferrari, he's also he's on a bit of a push lap as well. He is 2.5 tenths down on his previous lap. That might be able to keep him in the top 10 towards the end of qualifying. We're approaching 6 minutes left, so once these drivers get their laps in, they're only going to have enough time for about one more attempt. Potty as well, the other McLaren, he is about the same as he is compared to his first time, which is the 127.908. He's about 4 thousandths off. This complex of corners can be pretty difficult, and through the race, I would expect to see some people struggling with track limits, especially through that specific complex of corners. QRL Ramon is still leading our lap times with a 126.919, and we'll see if anyone can put in a better lap time to put himself on pole for this race.
Yeah, you were speaking about the track limits. It's certainly very easy. Some of these, especially these long sweeping corners, especially like in Sector 2, to not slow down enough, or maybe get out, let the speed carry you out a little bit wide and break track limits, or the chicane there before that DRS straight. Especially if there's traffic, you can cut that corner on purpose, or even just trying to get out of the way to avoid an incident. Certainly the potential for some track limits penalties tonight, especially as hard as these guys racing as close as they stay together generally. I think we may end up seeing a few 3-second penalties for track limits tonight.
Oh, 100%. And that could be the difference. That's what's been the difference on multiple occasions so far this season is people win the race, but they have penalties that they haven't served, or they're waiting to be served at the end of the race, and they end up either losing the podium or losing the win because of it. And it's hard to see. It really is.
Yeah, and but that's just like I said, I think it's just a testament too to how close these guys are in skill and pace that those penalties really end up hurting as much as they do. If the field wasn't as evenly matched, they could have enough breathing room to those penalties wouldn't be nearly as effective as they are. So it definitely it's interesting to see. Although I do know it hurts. It hurts to get them. It hurts to be on the receiving end of that. It definitely keeps the race interesting for the viewers.
It definitely keeps it interesting for the viewers at home. And another thing as well is there's I'd say probably 60% of the grid is in the low 127s through the 127s. That's a lot of people that are really close together. This is going to be a very interesting race and a very close qualifying, and we'll see if all these people in the 127s have similar race pace, because that could lead to just an all-out rampage on track tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. From Red Devil with a 127.032, it's a 1.01 second difference between him and 14th place. So that's very
crazy.
tight time. Yes.
But Cost Mindset, he's about a second down on his previous lap time. He still hasn't set a good one yet. He's going to be I don't think he's going to be able to put in a decent qualify. Actually, no, he restarted a lap. So if this is the lap he's pushing on, he's got about one attempt and about 3 minutes left to be able to put himself into the top 10 for a good starting position on this race. Starting position is key here. It's going to be difficult to chop their way through the field because there is 3 DRS zones. So DRS trains are going to be likely in this race. He's about 5/10 down in his current lap time. But back to what I was saying, DRS trains are going to be a factor in this race. And if you're not putting yourself in a decent position in qualifying, that could spell the end for your race quite early.
Yeah, and it's so hard, you know, you get in those DRS trains, and then when you come out of the DRS and it's these tight, kind of windy corners, or like the flowing S section there, it's hard to set up a pass in those sections where it's hard to set yourself up to take advantage of that DRS as well. And so what ends up happening, you get everybody moving about the same pace. Oh, that was interesting. Who was that?
I think he caught traffic there on his lap time. It looked like Jay Supreme.
I think it was Saad Niaz.
It was Saad Niaz. He was stuck on the track
on the outside of that corner. Yeah, that was interesting.
That might have just spelled the end for Cost Mindset. He might be down at the back of the grid. He's gonna abort. He's gonna abort. Cost Mindset is not gonna get an actual lap time in qualifying. That's unfortunate for Cost Mindset in the Mercedes.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got enough time now to go out and set another lap. He might try to hustle and get one in, but I don't know if he's going to have time to or not by the time they get him in the garage.
No, he's not. There's only a minute. Yep, only a minute 20 seconds left in qualifying. So if you're not already on your out lap, you're done. You're done for qualifying for tonight. So far, the only real contenders for QRL Ramon is G-Boon and Red Devil, as well as Jan in the Alpha Tauri. Those are the only people that are within a tenth of that initial pole time, and that was set pretty early in qualifying. So, well, I mean, we'll see. They're all about to go on flyers. It's just a matter of time now.
Orlando just coming out of sector 2. He's down another almost 3/10 on his time.
So Orlando's pushing pretty hard.
I think he puts him in third place with a 1:26.932.
Wow, what a great lap from Orlando. That's going to put himself in third, as you just said. Wow, I was not expecting that from Orlando. He's really stepped it up in these past couple races.
Yeah, well, I think he's putting more time on track than anybody. He's racing AM2 and coming back, and he's been racing AM1 the very next night. It seems just about every week. So he's definitely getting the on track experience, and he's showing it for sure.
Yep. B Scholes is 2/10 down on his 1:27.385 as I think, yeah, we're down to the last little bit of qualifying here. Saad Nias has finished his qualifying. A lot of drivers are finishing their qualifying. Let's see if G-Boon is going to be able to put himself on pole position. He's 2/10 down through his sector 2 time. It's going to be a purple sector 2, or sorry, a purple sector 1. He just has to keep it clean through the rest of this lap, and he's going to get it. There's not much between him here towards the end of this session. Orlando is not going to be able to beat him. He's already done with his time. It's just no pucks given in Red Devil and Jan, really, that are going to be able to compete with G-Boon. We'll see if they're going to be able to put in decent times. BK in the Red Bull, he is also on a pretty fast lap. We'll see his split times here once he crosses the line into sector 3. No other people have finished lap times. We're coming down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be just a little bit above his sector 2 time. I don't think he's going to improve. Hopefully he can stay in the top 10. That's what he's going to be looking for. That's going to be his goal for the end of this qualifying session. G-Boon is going to cross the line and go pole with the 1:26.393. QRL Ramon is going to be in second with a 1:26.573. We have BK just waiting to finish here. Oh, he's going to spin out towards the end. He's going to spin out. He gave that lap all he had, but it's going to be G-Boon from QRL Ramon, Red Devil, Jan, Orlando, no pucks given, B Scholes, Saad Niaz, Male Carton, BK, Fire Gab, the Johnny Damon, Fluffy, Potty, Kryptonic